Chris, what do you make of the St. John's team? I think there were some people, myself included, that thought maybe they would be a little better than 10-8 this year, and Marcus Levette, obviously not being around, has a big impact on that, I would think. Just what do you make of this team right now?
Well, I think they're one of the most athletic teams in our league. I think they've been dealt a little bit of adversity. One of their primary ball handlers goes out for the year, and a guy that they, at least in the non-conference part of the season, relied, heavily on him. And so they're a team that's trying to figure out their offensive identity, here in conference play, thinking at one point they probably were getting him back. So it doesn't change who they are on the defensive end. They block shots, they create turnovers. Their best offense at times is just their ferocity and tenaciousness on the defensive end. They cover ground so quickly. So we got to do a really good job of taking care of the ball, number one, and also making sure around the basket that we're wise with our shot selection and not letting it lead to runouts the other way.
Marcus was in limbo. It felt to me like it was a couple weeks, and they pulled the plug last week, obviously. Do you feel like you've had enough looks and have enough access to tape of them without him?
Oh, I mean, that's all they've been playing. Their lineup has been the same all through conference play. Yeah. I just think maybe their mindset might have been when we get him back. And so sometimes it becomes a little bit easier as a coach in the program and as teammates to know who you're going to be dealing with as you move forward. We went through that a little bit last year. So, like I said, it doesn't change much on the defensive end. Obviously, they gave Villanova all they can handle and more the other night, which certainly we didn't. So they'll have our full attention knowing the type of defensive team and offensive firepower that they have.
How do you see Shamori factoring into what they do well right now?
Well, I mean, a guy takes 27 shots the other night, which I think is a little bit of more of an exception. But, it shows that he has unlimited range. He's got a much better three-point percentage than his percentage indicates. He's a great shooter from the perimeter. I think so often teams are so in tune to where he is on the floor. They try to make all his looks difficult, but yet he gets almost 40 points without scratching from the three-point line. So it shows his ability to get in the lane, to draw fouls, to make tough contested floaters, layups. He's got the full arsenal. And then, you look at the rest of their team. Marvin Clark shoots it extremely well. I think Justin Simon's one of the most athletic point guards in the league. Their fours and fives will stretch you from the three-point line. So it's a really unique team.
We talked to you a little bit after the game over the weekend about the lineup changes with Karam and Najee. Is that something going forward that's matchup based? Is that earned in practice or is that earned in games? How do you go out making those decisions?
Well, I want to have some type of stability with the lineup. I feel like as long as our guys are competing and doing what they need to do to get us off to good starts, then I'd like to keep the lineup how it is. Just like I did through the first however many games, minus the concussions and whatnot. But if guys aren't playing as well as the other guys on the bench, then I don't think it's fair. If I'm a player and I'm producing and I'm doing a better job, I want to start. I want to be out there. But again, it's from our standpoint, it's not who starts. It's who's in the game and who we're matching up with and how they're matching up to us. So. There are a lot of variables with all of that.
Chris, your desire to keep a stable lineup, I know when I talk to you, my only point of reference is last year, obviously, my first year on the beat, but any coach would want to keep a stable starting five. Mm-hmm. But do you feel like last year and all the flip-flopping, particularly with the bigs, did that heighten your desire to keep a stable starting five, or no, would you say?
No, it's just my preference because I feel like when you do have a stable lineup, it's basically, it's chicken or the egg. You have a stable lineup because you feel like your guys are consistent and they're bringing you what you expect. But at the same time, if they're not bringing you what you expect, then we're not going to go with the same old routine each and every game. And last year, quite honestly, I never knew what we were getting at the five position. And, it was musical chairs. this year I feel like for the most part, outside the last few games, we sort of had a rhythm to who we were, our substitution patterns, and guys were playing hard and playing well. And with the Providence game, with the Villanova game, I just didn't feel like it was going in the right direction. Thought some guys off the bench were playing better, and again, I thought they earned that opportunity. And it was great to see both the starters and non-starters respond the way they did on Saturday.
I understand it's not, excuse me, your favorite topic to talk about, the record that could be set when you do win your next game. Have any of the former coaches you've coached with or coached under reached out to you, sent you a message, anything like that leading up to this?
Yeah, but nothing about that. Just, how you doing? Saw your game the other night. That's really about it. Sorry, Joe.
No. Are you looking forward to this being over and us stop asking about it?
I haven't looked forward to it, past it. I mean, I just don't even think about it until I have to come in here and answer questions. So it's more about worrying about St. John's than it is about, winning or losing or any of that stuff.
I did have one more thought on St. John's. There's an idea that St. John's is kind of a tough matchup for some teams, the way they play, their personnel. Is that true? When you see them, are they a difficult matchup?
Well, I think there are things that you have to do as a team in order to beat St. John's that doesn't come easy to some teams. You have to be able to handle their athleticism, their pressure. You've got to be able to, as best you can, not get your shot blocked around the basket. Their defense leads to offense. And then you got to be able to keep a guy like Shamari Pons, and before it was Pons and Levette, out of the lane. And that's easier said than done. Last year those two came in and they were firing on all cylinders from all over the floor. So I think they definitely create matchup issues, and they have a certain style of play that you don't see every night.